Hey everybody, Matt here with Revolver Outdoors. I thought I'd take a minute just to walk you through the DDS-1 and all the accessories. We've been getting a number of questions about how it functions and also what we do in certain situations. So I got my boat here. It's a 14-foot Sotar, and I have the DDS-1 all hooked up, and I thought I'd show you what I do on the water. So let me flip the camera around and show you what I got. So you can see I have a NRS custom frame that I built. These are my sideboards and my center board, complete with cup holders, but that's not what we're here to talk about. I usually mount a captain's box over here, which keeps my phone and everything like that. And here is how I mount. So this cooler here is where I sit, and the DDS-1 just kind of sits in back. I drive around with it, no problem, with our frame mounts. This is our custom built frame mount for the NRS. We also have them for the bigger frames, as well as rectangular frames like Willie and Rickrotech. So yeah, what we have here, this is our tether. So I have it tethered to the frame. So in case it falls out, I know that all my gear is safe. We also provide a locking pin here for driving down the road. I really don't use it when rafting. I've never had an issue. So if you pull the pin out, you're still tethered to the frame like that. And some of the questions we get is what happens with low-hanging obstacles. So it does rarely come up where we're going to go under a tree or a bridge or something like that. And in that scenario, all my rods are sticking up in the air. I just pull it and lay it down until the hazard's gone. Like I said, this is such a rare occasion. It's only come up a couple of times where I actually had to pull this thing. You can see that we also have on this one the spaceling attached, which will hold both spey rods, two-handed rods, and traditional reel casting rods. I'll show you how that works in a second. We've got the two accessories, the carabiner holder, as well as the accessory hanger there. And just to show you real quickly how easily this opens and closes, like that. So to mount rods, I'll grab a spey rod here. Spey rod slides through the open loop, gets caught there, clips in up top, lock it in, and you're safe, ready to go, ready to fish. For a traditional rod, we can take this, it slots in through the bottom. Oh, I'm still closed up top. Open that up, clip it in, close it, and off we go. So it'll hold 4 rods, no problem. Really easily attaches, detaches, comes down, and off you go. What we like about it is traditionally we'd lay our rods. I'd kind of use this back box to lay the reels on and lay them forward towards the front of the boat. However, with kids, dogs, and gear, I was breaking a couple rods a year and having to send them back, and that was getting a little frustrating. So kind of ran into this design by accident. I had some stuff hooked up for some other projects and started clipping my rods vertically and found that there's no better way to fish. So, if we hit whitewater, I usually have 2 passengers up here in front that are fishing. If we're going into some bigger stuff, I'll have them hand their rods back, I'll stow them. There's no rods hanging off the boat. If we run into a rock, there's no risk of that rod being broken because they're up and away. Pretty simple like that. In the case of bigger whitewater where there might be flip coming, potentially, hopefully not. You know, I will, because I'll usually have gear mounted up in back here. So this is, you know, where all my dry bags and everything fit. I'll pull the pin, I'll take the rod rack down, and I'll attach it securely. This shows, you know, both these rods are only half length right now, just for convenience. But you can break the rods down in half and actually insert the top half of the rod down the tube to make your boat a little bit shorter. That long one's the spay rod. Looking over here, here's how, you know, some of the features come together. You can see that we have a traditional spinning rod hooked into the space sling down there. Comes up top, goes into the squishy insert. You know, these things are really soft and pliable and really grippy. Most likely you don't need to lock in most situations, but just for peace of mind, I'll lock it down and make sure those rods can't come out. And then, you know, it's just the thumb will open and close that. Here's the accessory hanger. This is kind of how I run it. You know, we have our nippers here, easily accessible by the captain when the rod's up there. I always know where they're at. I just yank them down, tie some tippet on, you know, clip a hook, do whatever. I got my tippet spool, which just has a carabiner on it, attaches right there. And then whatever other accessories you want. If you're dry fly fishing, you can put your dry shake on there. You can put your floating on there. One of my favorite features, though, which we found to be absolutely critical or convenient, is the carabiner hanger. And this is where I put my speaker. You know, it's always just right behind me, ready to turn up, turn down, turn off, and it's just kind of like provides the perfect atmosphere with music, you know, kind of coming from above. You know, if the front passengers get sick of it, I can turn it down and I can still hear it, and they don't have to listen to my music. Additional mounts we have. This is for the 2-inch frames, so that would be like a downriver, a Rocky Mountain, a Salmon River frame, and then on the other side it'll attach to any NRS type of tubing, which is 1 5/8 tube. So this finally is a solution to your frames, where you might want to put, I don't know, maybe a rear rowing frame. I often attach a motor mount to the back of this to do a little 9.9 horsepower engine for those flat water sections, you know, just motor through them. Think last day of the lower salmon is a good aspect. This is our traditional NRS clamp. You know, this was built out of necessity. We really wanted to buy these from NRS and just sell them, but they were back ordered for 6 months, which put us in the situation where we had to make our own. So we had these custom machined out of 6061 T6 aluminum. They'll mount, you know, to any NRS frame, standard hardware, and off you go. So, you know, in the case that NRS is sold out again, you can always buy one of ours, or if you like the color scheme, the red, the anodized, you can do that too. Lastly, we've got lots of questions on rectangular tubes. So Recratech, Willy frames, things like that are starting to go to this rectangular frame across that back bar right there that you see. And we didn't have a solution for that. So it's basically the same 2-inch OD, but we made these little half circles that allow it to attach and rotate on a Recratech or a Willy or any other rectangular frame tube. So again, on the bottom, it attaches to any NRS. So if you do have that situation where you want, you know, some NRS gear on your Recratech frame, that's a good solution for you. On the bottom, you can see we've got this larger butt, fighting butt rod. They sit in there a little bit different. They just kind of go into these cups and sit on top. Traditional rod, spin rod, goes through the space lane like so, and it just kind of hovers. And then down on bottom we have the tether. You can see the pin is through it. The pin easily just ejects. Allows the whole unit to come off, but yet you're still securely attached to the frame. This is a pin with a little detent on it, so when you push it through, it's not going to come out. See if I can find that one. No, I can't. Anyhow, that's the unit. You can attach anything else you might want to this. The other feature that we have is on top we put these little grooves so that you can hang stuff. So think wet clothes, life jackets, helmets, all that stuff can clip on or hang. Your hat, which is most traditionally what I put on there. You know, I got one of these big river hats that keep my face shaded. It hangs on there when I get off the water. So, you know, that's another important aspect. You know, after the day is done on the raft, you know, it's been a long day, maybe 6-8 hours. Traditionally or commonly, you know, your rods will be all over the place. They'll be sitting up here in the cockpit. They'll be laying across tubes. And as you know, you're in and out of the raft all evening. In this situation, when you have the DDS-1, your rods are safe, secure. They're not laying in bushes. They're not getting left on the beach. You always know where they are for that evening fish or the morning fish. Where you wake up, it's all ready to go. It's untangled and it's stowed. For packing the boat, this doesn't interfere whatsoever. All your gear goes through here. You still have plenty of access to strap across or strap over or strap from the D-rings on the side. I haven't run into a situation. We've done 14 days using this system, a 14-day long float with a lot of gear, including engines and gas tanks and everything else. And this guy never got in my way. So that's the DDS-1. Please let me know if you have any other questions.